Hello, guys. Thanks for joining this KIS webinar. And it's 3 p.m. right now. Let's wait for a few more minutes. We will start at 3:05, okay? So, yep, 3:05. Right, for those who have joined us, this webinar is sort of like both wave webinars. If you have any question, please feel free to leave it in the chat box, and our team will be able to respond to you quickly. Hello, Chadi. Yeah, let's wait for 3 more minutes, and then we will kick off for the Kiloview Intercom Server webinar. From Greece, we have people all over the world joining us for this particular webinar. Thank you for joining. Michael, Aloysius. Hey, pleased to meet you. Hey, Nova. Yes, I'm looking good. Hey, Jono, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. Oh, really? We have quite a lot of participants all over the place here in the world. Thank you so much for joining. All right, 2 more minutes and counting, and then we shall begin. Hello from Turkey, Mr. Anor Umar. Biggest challenge with cloud managed solution is the lack of reliability, purpose-built device. Hope you can recommend some available solution. This webinar is more towards on the intercom side, but if you like on the management part, we do have Kiloview Server Pro, but we will not discuss in depth in this one. Perhaps we will be able to discuss that privately with you, right? We can go through Kiloview Server presentation if you want to. But yeah, I appreciate you posting that in the chat. Hey Dio. Oh, I misunderstand the question. Yep. Possibly you could rephrase that question for me if you do not mind. Yep, let's kick off with the webinar. Anor, yep, we will go through your question after this. Again, thanks for posting that. So let me just lower down the volume. All right, okay, let's begin. Thanks again for joining this webinar for the Kiloview Intercom Server KIS. This webinar would cover generally, stuff, features pertaining to Kiloview Intercom Server. And of course, we will also cover installation as well. There will be a video around 15 minutes or less pertaining to how easy it is to deploy a Kiloview Intercom server. And of course, at the end, we will showcase how the interface will look like and how easy it is for you to link up the devices in part of the Kiloview Intercom server ecosystem. Okay, so this webinar is hosted from the APAC team, which is myself. My name is JM, and I'm the business development person in the APAC team. And in the same call, we have Kathy as well. She's the APAC sales manager, and we have the pre-sales engineer, Mr. Mark Mao, who is, I think he's in the middle of the call, if I'm not mistaken, but otherwise he will join us shortly. All right, no worries. We do have other colleagues from HQ as well from China. They are also in this stream. We do have colleagues from HQ as well from China. They are also in this stream. All right, I'm hearing my own reverb. Let me just, yep, okay, all good. So, all right, let's begin. Again, if you have any technical question, please drop it in our chat box and we'll do our level best to support you. We have colleagues in HQ and they will also answer those questions concurrently. So without further ado, let's begin. We, first off, what is KIS? As the slide says, it's a Kiloview Intercom server. So this particular solution that we have is a web service solution we offer to our customers. And this is one of the solutions that is least mentioned or least famous, I would say, across all the hardware and software that we ever deliver. So today's chapter or today's webinar is more focusing on what is KIS and how KIS would be able to benefit for your, for your customers or for your workflow. So generally speaking, KIS is known as Kiloview Intercom Server, which is running on web service, as I mentioned earlier. It is a very cost-effective and simple intercom solution. Again, it's an intercom web service software solution that can be installed, deployed by our own customers, end user, or even if you're from system integrator, if you're selling as a solution, you can easily set up this intercom server. It is a standalone intercom solution. Okay, you don't need to have Kiloview encoders, decoders to run this intercom server. Primarily, if you're setting up a small project, small studio, if you want to build like a cost-effective intercom, okay, you can actually set up this server yourself, and you don't need our encoders, decoders boxes to be the terminal, right? So later on, I'll explain how you do that. And it's compatible with all devices. So I put a star mark here. Generally, the intercom server build, which is at build 25 right now, works with all Kiloview encoders, decoders. Okay, as long as you're updated to the latest version, to the latest build, you will be able to make use of the Kiloview Intercom server. All right, your device can be part of the terminal and able to connect as a channel and able to communicate in the group. And of course, it is a pure VoIP intercom solution. What you'll be seeing throughout this presentation, everything will be in a software layer. There won't be any hardware version of the intercom server. All right. And we use WebRTC to basically send and receive the data where you communicate in the VoIP. And of course, is a Docker deployment. Excuse me. So this Docker deployment, meaning to say, if you are running on Linux, you can install Docker for absolutely free, and therefore you can have a lot of instances, right? Meaning to say you can have Kiloview Server Pro and also Docker, and also KIS running side by side as well. And web browser as a terminal, like I said, you can run this standalone solution without our encoders, decoders. You can make use of any web-enabled terminal as an interface to connect to the intercom. So generally speaking, if you have a mobile devices, if you have an Android phone, as long as they have a web browser that supports WebRTC, you can basically use that as a terminal to connect to the intercom. And it's a pure IP-based comms solutions that we offer. Now, why KIS? So first and foremost, KIS is a self-hosted, all right, or it can be a cloud intercom solution. So everything is managed by your end. Typically, the KIS image, because it's a Docker deployment, the image will be deployed or can be downloaded from our Docker container. And once that is deployed, once that is installed on your own server, on your own cloud, on your own physical hardware, then you basically manage that your own, right? So user is able to access intercom server everywhere across the globe, right? If you are hosting it on the cloud, meaning to say you'll be on a public IP, and therefore you can access intercom as long as you have the IP address of the server, okay? And best of all, it's flexible device access. As I mentioned earlier, you don't need our encoders, decoders. Any mobile phones, laptop that has a web browser that supports WebRTC can be a terminal to connect to the intercom. So primarily, if you don't have our encoders, decoders, you can still use this, right? So if you can use it on the Mac, on the Windows, on an Android phone, on an Apple device, no problem on that one. So this is pretty flexible. And on top of that, it is unlimited user and device connectivity. So we say unlimited simply because we do not charge per cal license or user license. Once you invest into the Kilolink Intercom server, right, that license is perpetual. So you can use it, you can include as many users or as many encoders, decoders connectivity as you want, right? Personally, in terms of our R&D, we have tested 80 devices / users connected in the server at the same time, with the maximum of 8 groups running concurrently, right? Which is which is pretty cool, right? If you have your own server running at 80 terminals, and then you have all separate groups running privately as well. And best of all, we don't use any proprietary headset or USB headset interface or microphone. So if you have a USB headset, which is running on a universal USB driver, such as the one that you see in from the webcam, so this is a typical USB device that is running on a USB interface. You can basically plug this into our encoders and decoders, and that can be an interface to connect or to use it to communicate, right? But of course, if you're on the phone, right, if you're on your iPhone, your Android device, if you're linked up with a external Bluetooth headset, that would work as well. Okay, if you're on a laptop, any connected I/O for your audio in and out can be used as an interface too. So again, we don't use any proprietary USB headset to basically communicate with our hardware here. So which is cool. Now this is how it looks like on the web browser access. If you have the URL IP address, once you set up your intercom server, you punch in the URL IP address, okay, and this is how the interface will look like. In here, there's a site B channel. In there is 2 persons talking right now. We have JME3, which is my encoder, okay, and we have user B. Now, user B is connected on a mobile phone. So again, I can have this standalone channel, site B, and put 2 users, and both users are able to communicate amongst each other, right? So of course, we have site A and site C. Those are all independent channels over there. So this is how it looks like on a Google Chrome interface. And again, this is how it looks like on the mobile Google Chrome interface. If you have logged in via your cell phone, this is how it looks like. All right, it will give you almost the same user experience from the desktop version, and then moving on into the mobile version. All right. And for the E3, which is our encoder, okay, it's merely a few clicks for you to set up the E3 to communicate with our Kiloview Intercom server. So this is how the interface will look like. Once you enter E3, there's a shortcut here, which is missing. I'll show you at the end of the slides on the configuration. So once you have filled in all the necessary settings, you will be able to connect to the Kiloview Intercom server easily here. And as you can see, you can have more than one. So generally, if you're using, maybe you want to host your own local version, which is a on-prem, non-hosted, non-public access, you can set up your own intercom server as well, right? But of course, if you have a public IP, you want to host it, so other external party who wants to join in, that can be arranged as well. So in short, our encoders and decoders allows you to connect multiple Kiloview intercom server, and then you can just choose which one you want to connect to, right? You can also disconnect them. So this is how the interface will look like. And these are the example of our decoder. So this is a D350. At the back, there's a USB port. From the back, that is where you connect the headset, right? So connect a USB headset into this, and configure it, and then you will be able to use your D350 as a terminal. Now, of course, recently we announced our P3 Mini, and of course we have a P3 in front here. This is how the interface would look like. Again, using the bonding device, moving your bonding device at the remote area, you would want to host your Kiloview Intercom server publicly, because your staff, your colleague will be out there using bonding, right? And therefore, your Kiloview Intercom server needs to be hosted publicly so that your P3 will be able to communicate with that server. So from the bottom of the P3, there's a USB port here. That is where you plug in your headset as well. Same goes to the P3 Mini. The P3, the USB interface will be at the side. Just plug in that headset and you will be ready to go. Now, how do we, how do we ensure that the communications are encrypted? So in short, we use WebRTC for the transmission, and we are using SRTP, which is known as Secure RTP protocol, that ensures security. And the encryption is happening up to 128 bits. So therefore, you don't have to worry people sneaking onto your packets and hacking it and listening to what you're listening. So in primarily, we use SRTP to encrypt all audio channels, so it's very, very safe. So to give you a perspective, right? This is a simple signal flow diagram. You have your Kiloview Intercom server hosted, whether on-prem or on cloud. If you're on the cloud, make sure it's public connected so that you can allow external party to connect to it. And of course, you can use your mobile phone, your E3, you can use your laptop as well. Of course, our P3 and P3 Mini. So any of these encoders, decoders can be connected to the intercom server. And then you can create your private channel, assign them to public channel as you want. So another signal flow diagram, this to give you a perspective of once you have connected the USB headset in here as well, that can be an interface, okay? Generally, if you're setting this up, I would recommend you will use the computer or a iPad or a laptop computer as a main configuration terminal. This is where you create your groups, you assign privileges and permission, and once you have done this, then other device can connect as a terminal to use their comps, right? You still need an admin account to manage those devices, to basically group them up. And again, once the installation process is finished, after this presentation, I'll give you a quick tour on how the interface will look like. So this is the signal flow diagram. And the server specification to run KIS is very, very minimum. If you have a Core i5 laying around, 40 gigs storage of SSD, 4 gigs of RAM, and primarily running on a Linux distro Ubuntu, that will be able to allow you to deploy the KIS server easily. Now, of course, internally, we have done our own testing. We have more than 80 connections, which include our encoders and devices from laptops, for mobile phones, all connected simultaneously into a Core i7 platform that shares the same configuration here. It's 32 gig. As you can see, right, the CPU utilization is a very bare minimum, and we don't use up a lot of memory as well, right? We have tested 80 connection. We have customers who basically use more than that, perhaps. And of course, if you're wondering, like if you have 80 connection, that is pretty much a lot for a Kiloview for this intercom server, because our intercom server solution it's a very, I would say, is a very cost-effective slash basic, right? We are not going to compete what is available on the market. What we offer is something to help our customers to set up a a very, very cost-effective intercom solution, right? If customers say, I don't have the budget, but at the same time I want to have the flexibility and I want to have the performance for a good intercom server, here you go. The KIS suits really, really well, right? But we have customers say, hey, what happens if I want to link it to an external intercom? So we don't have any direct API as of now. However, if you are aware, we do have modules such as this. This is a USB audio adapter. It's just generally a universal audio in and out adapter. There's a mic in and an audio out. So this, as long as they are USB universal adapter, you can actually easily convert this to TRS. And therefore, you can sort of output that audio and bring audio into the KIS as well using these USB adapter. Right. Again, if you have any question, please feel free to try to the chat box. And let's do a quick overview or a quick walkthrough. And this is gonna be chaired by Mr. Mark. He has prepared a quick installation and walkthrough on how easy it is and how simple it is to set up a Kiloview Intercom server. So let's get Mark to go through the installation.
Today I'm going to show you how to deploy Kiloview Intercom server through VMware. So let's start a new VMware machine and give the name of the machine. Let's call it KIS, and the default user Ubuntu, and give the password Ubuntu123, and confirm the password. Now we can give the name of this VMware machine. We call the KIS. It will be stored in the default path folder, and then we need to set up the space for this virtual machine. We can reference for the deployment guide of the KIS, and we give the 35 GB as the space, and we choose the split files to store for this new setup. The next step, we need to allocate the resource for this VMware machine. We can reference to the document as well. We can set up the CPU and the memory, and for the network adapter, we can use default as the NAT, or we can choose bridge. The bridge will connect to the physical network adapter of this machine. When everything on every configuration finished, you can start the VMware, and it will load the Ubuntu ISO automatically and deploy the Ubuntu system to this VM machine. Then it will be a long time to deploy the operation system of Ubuntu, and this is probably the most big difference between the on-premise deploy and the cloud deployment, because on the cloud environment you can use the image file directly, but if you deploy on a VM machine, you need to do it by yourself, step by step. In here, you can choose the default language. We choose English. Here, the GitHub has a new version of Ubuntu. We skipped this new version. Keep the default keyboard settings, and the router has assigned a new IP address for this VMware machine. And then the rest of the configuration, we can keep the default value. Don't need to change. Here we need to set up the username, the password of access to the Ubuntu system, and also set up the server name. In this page, we need to install the OpenSSH server. So this is using for remote access through like the tools like PuTTY. Now the installation process is beginning. You can view the full log to have a big display for to see all the information. and then it will be a long time to wait. When you see the install complete show in the upper left, it means the installation purposes is finished, and then you can close it and reboot the system. After the system starts, we can use our default user Ubuntu to log in. The username is Ubuntu and the password is Ubuntu123, and then we can yeah, access into and operate the Ubuntu system. And then we can open PuTTY to remote access into this system. But let's check about the IP first. Let's use IP A to check about the IP address. It is the assigned by my house router, and I use the IP address to log in, and need to um, use the same username and password to access again. Okay, the next step is we need to deploy the KIS. I have prepared a script for doing this. Let's fix this script in the left side and open PuTTY on the right side. Let's get the rights, the root rights first for operating system. Let's type in sudo su to get the root rights. Type in the password for user Ubuntu, and now you can see I got a root writer. Then the next step is to deploy the Docker environment. Let's use the Docker version to check whether we have Docker deployed or not. Okay, then we see there is no Docker, so let's update the apt environment first. Let's use the script sudo apt update to update our apt environment. Okay, then we use the sudo apt install docker.io /y to deploy the Docker environment. Okay, and then we run the following two scripts to let the Docker to start a Docker service and let the Docker automatically run when the system start up. Then the next step here is to set up the UFW. The UFW is just like a firewall, so we need to let some portals to open. Let's enable the UFW first, and then we need to add some rows. You can type in the script just to follow my left documents. So we need to allow some specific portals to open. So like the 2022 TCP, it is using for like the PuTTY to remotely access. Then we can check about the menu. The menu writes some specific portals that we need to open for KIS. Let's do that. We need to open the porter 8443 and the porter 81 TCP to allow the HTTP, TTPS and the HTTP access. Then we need to open the UDP porters 16,000 to 17,000 and UDP porters 2,000 to 40,000. We have finished all the ports configuration, and then we use sudo ufw status to check if we have opened all the porters. Then we need to type in the following script to create a KIS data category. And after that, we need to download the Kiloview Intercom server, the image files. We can get it from the official website. We need to copy this script and paste it into PuTTY, and it will download from the our official website directly. There is another way. If you are overseas customer, you can use the dot pull commands to get the image from Docker directly, and you can find the relevant script in the deployment menu as well. After the top page being downloaded, we need to use the following script to load in Docker. And then you will see the compression process. And let's do the final step. Copy this script into PuTTY. It will create a container and make its database director mounted to the host director. So now all the installation process should be finished. So let's try to open the KIS using Chrome. Let's use the IP address, HTTPS, and my local IP address of this firmware, and then use the 8443 HTTPS ports to log in, and then you can see the web UI. Default user is an administrator, and let's use this to access. And then it will jump into another page, let you to change the default password. You can change the using your own password.
Yep. So that is how easy it is for you to set up the whole intercom server. And so this is how the dashboard will look like. The whole installation process, if you have a very good internet speed, typically it's going to be less than half an hour. So in fact, I've sort of reduced or fast forward the download process because it's depending on the internet speed. So generally 20 minutes or less, you'll be able to set up a Kiloview Intercom server. So once you've reset the password for the first login, and you are required to re-log in again. Okay, let me just re-log in now. So once you have logged in, this is how the interface will look like. And from the center, this is the call, or as we call the, the session. At the moment, you can only start one call or one session at a time, right? In this case, I have intercom 1. So should you want to host more than like 3 or 4, the best way to do now is to have multiple instances, right? Now, one instance, you can only have one call. Now, of course, once I start the call here, you'll be able to see in there, I will be able to create my own channel. So I do have a public channel, second channel, channel 3, or channel special. And because I'm using an administrator account, which allows me to assign, in this case, my E3, I want to assign it into second channel, and I want to assign a P3 and an E3 to be able to communicate. And of course, this is the unit from Mark. His P3 unit is connected to the same intercom server. If I want Mark P3 device to work as a receiver, meaning to say as a listener, right? Mark is not able to communicate by just listening. I will just mute it, right? But if I want to have both ways, I will just unmute this, and now Mark can stop talking as well. And of course, my E3 unit will be a terminal, and the P3 unit that Mark poses in his home office, both of this device will be able to communicate. Okay, so this is the how easy it is for you to assign. But of course, like I said, I'm in the admin account. I can put everyone back to a public where everyone can talk to everyone. So as you can see, right, what's happening here. So I can simply assign them to each respective group. So you can have as many channels as you want, but you can only have one session, one call session at a time. So now I have one intercom session here, which is running. So if you want to start a second session, you need to stop this session first. Okay, so let me just mute them up, some of them, because I have one device working here. So I'm afraid they will get a reverb echo. So how do you add devices? Okay, so we have two member management. One is user account. User account simply means the normal users that can log in from their mobile phone or from their laptop devices as a normal user terminal into the Kiloview Intercom server. So you can create as many users as you want, right? You can actually add them from here. Or you can use device user. So device users are also pretty straightforward, meaning if I want the Kiloview Intercom, Kiloview encoders, decoders to be part of the terminal, this is where I add them. So to do this is very simple. So let me just quickly go into my E3 device. So this is the E3 interface. Click on the intercom sign here. And from here, as you can see, this is being connected. Assuming that I'm connecting to another new intercom server, all I need to do is press the plus sign, and it will request the IP address of the KIS server. Okay, if you're hosting this on the public internet, this is where you put in the public IP address. If you're hosting it locally, meaning to say you don't allow any remote access into your own intercom server hosted locally, you will need to put in the IP address of the intercom server here. The most important part is for you to remember the serial number or the serial code. Why? Once you copy this, okay, let me just go back to the Intercom Server Pro here. So in here, you will be able to, let me just create something very quickly here. Second E3. And in here, it requires me to put the serial number. So I'll just paste the serial number. Okay, let me just paste this, copy this serial number, paste the serial number. And from here, I'll press on authorization code generator. So remember, right, every single time when you hit on this button, it will generate a new authorization code. Copy this code and paste it at the corner here. KIS authorization code. Put it here. Make sure you put in the IP address, and then make sure your ports are all correctly mapped. In this settings is 81 and then HTTPS 443, and click OK. So once the settings has been configured, right, make sure you save the settings here as well. I can't save this because I've used the same serial number. So click OK. And when both connections are established, you'll see a green indicator saying that server has been connected. You see an icon here, device is connected. And from here, you will see the device is being enabled and is online. Okay, this is an indicator to see that all our hardware is connected to the intercom server here. And if I go back to the main call dashboard, you'll be able to see they are being connected over here. Okay, so of course you can add additional terminal or user through the plus sign. Okay, you can add additional user here as well if you will. Yeah, so this is how easy it is for you to put in or add users from our Kiloview devices into the Intercom Server Pro here. Okay, so yep, again, this is how easy it is to set up your own Intercom server. And yep, if you have any question, please feel free to drop it in the chat box. And yeah, just in case if you miss any of the process, not to worry. We have spoke to our marketing team. We will shortly upload a recorded video of this installation process, and you can basically view it from YouTube. You can pause it. You can replay it as many times as you want. Okay. At the same time, those Docker codes, the syntax are all available for you to copy and use it, and it's all available in our user manual. But of course, if you met any challenges in the process, please feel free to reach out to us at support@kiloview.com, and then we will do our level best to answer your question. Okay. Now, let's go through the licensing part of things here. So generally, the Kiloview Intercom Server is a software. It's a web service software whereby we don't charge user license. So it's a perpetual license, one time off. Once you purchase the license, you can install it on the instance. But of course, if you are reinstalling the software on the different instance, you would need to send us an email and we'll do a license transfer. Okay, that is definitely doable. All right, but at the same time, it can support multiple calls up to 20 channels. It has functions like call management, user management. These are all I did a quick overview earlier on this part, right? At the same time, we also support version upgrade. At the moment, it is at version 25, 1.0025. So any minor version update, these are all free for our users to enjoy. So if you purchase the license, if we have bugs, fixes, and all new features to be enabled, typically speaking, you'll be able to update it without any issue. However, in the event there's a major leap firmware update or software update to version 2 or 3, yeah, in future, maybe there will be an upgrade license. But as of now, we don't charge it. And we don't charge call terminal as well. So if you have 20 Kiloview encoders, decoders, please feel free to connect those into the KIS server. And best for all is we do support 30 days trial. So you can use a 30 days trial license to activate full function of the Kiloview Intercom server, which is fantastic, right? Now, the whole package here, right, should you wish to purchase this, is only $199 US. Okay. Now, of course, we'd like to share you some updates here. We do have the free Kiloview Intercom server promotion ongoing until end of the year. So any purchase of P3 Mini, you'll get a free copy of the KIS server, completely free, right? All you need to do is just let us know your end user data. We'll register and we'll activate the license. Okay, so not to worry. We just need to know your end user. If you have sold any of this unit or if you have purchased any of this P3 Mini within this promotional month, you are entitled to get a free KIS Pro license for absolutely free. Okay. Not only that, if you're thinking of buying a P3 or if you have customers thinking of buying a P3 unit, they will have the offer of getting a free 4G modems. So if they purchase 2 pieces of 5G, they will get 2 pieces of 4G absolutely free of charge. And so happens if your customer's like, I don't want 5G, I'm happy with 4G, we'll give them 1 4G modems card absolutely free for every purchase of P3 with 3 pieces of 4G card. So get a P3 with 3 pieces of 4G, the 4th piece of 4G card will be absolutely free. And of course, the P3 unit only supports up to 4 pieces of modem cards here. So I wish, if you have any prospect, if you're thinking of considering it to buy this, I think this offer is really a great promotion to hop on. And not only that, we will offer purchase with purchase promotion for these customers as well. So, presumably if you're getting a unit P3 or P3 Mini for this month, you are entitled to purchase a decoder as well. Because you have an encoder, you need a decoder to decode back to HDMI or baseband, right? So you're entitled of 50% off for every purchase of D350 or RD350, right? This sort of completes the workflow over here. And the price here, we mentioned 199 and 298. These are priced in US dollar. Generally is we use this as a base. If you're looking this at in Europe, in Australia, in different country, the price might be vary, right? Please reach out to your channel partner, to our dealers, to our resellers. But of course, we will make sure that they will return the 15% purchase discount back to you. All right. Again, if you have any question, please reach out to us directly. We'll get it answered. Now, the last part, which is, if you're still contemplating of whether, you're deciding to buy a P3 or P3 Mini, you're not sure, whether this P3 or P3 Mini will work for you, not to worry. We have 30 days risk-free guarantee. So in short, if you would like to purchase this unit and you're thinking whether you want to test it out, whether you think like, hey, is this something that I want? I'm not sure. Yeah, you can start talking to us. We'll hook you up with a free trial Kiloview server subscription, up to 3 terabytes of data, so you can use this opportunity to test out the P3 and the P3 Mini as well. So the idea is to get you starting to use our product, right? To make sure that you get it works what we advertise, especially it's a risk free trial opportunity here. Right, so yeah, this is a quick ad that I thrown in to share with you the promotion for this year, end of this year. But of course, if you have any question, you can actually ask us. We'll do our best to answer you. Until then, I don't have anything at my end here. Okay, there's a last question here. It's a bit confused, up to 80 devices like you said in the beginning, or 20 devices like license plate said. So generally, we don't charge any additional license. 80 devices is the number of devices that we have tested internally. So we have 80 channels connected simultaneously, right? So you can go up to 100 devices or 200 devices. We do not charge car license. 20 devices like the license said. So the 20 devices, so let me quickly pull back to the PowerPoint slide. So supported multi-party calls up to 20 channels. So the 20 channel meaning to say you will be able to create 20 channels from this interface. So let me quickly go back to the server 43135 so that you can see it. So the channel that I meant is this channel. Sorry about that. So once you are in this call, once you're in this instance, you can have up to 20 channels. You can start adding. Okay, JM channel, for example. Let me just mute all of this, and then I can start adding. So you can have multiple channel here. That's what it says, up to 20. But again, right, our comms here, ours are very sort of like a cost-effective solution, meaning to say it's a simple yet easy to use, works with our encoders, decoders, work with your mobile phones as well. Best of all, you can self-host it, means you own your data, you own that server itself, as opposed, we are trying to compete with all the major players here. So I believe there are many brands out there that are doing intercom for decades, right? And we are not here to replace them, but we're simply offering an alternative to our existing customer, because we are moving to IP, right? And if your project requires a small scale and a product that is really flexible, that can work with our encoders, decoders, yeah, here you go. We have this KIS server. If you have a requirement that I want to have 10 channels of intercom, and customers have a tight budget, I don't mind using my computers or mobile phones or our encoders as part of the terminal, right? Here you go. This is a KIS server, right? So this is something that we're looking at, right? Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that question, because Yeah, I might have missed that out during the explanation. But here you go. Yeah, thanks for the question, Marco. I appreciate that. Um, yep, I think if there's no questions, yeah, I'm happy to adjourn this webinar. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate your time joining us. Till then, we will see you guys again on the next webinar and training. And see you guys soon. Thank you so much.